Dear students, very good morning. Today we are going to just to revise our lessons. What we studied in 6th standard. What we are going to do? We are going to revise the lesson of 6th standard. Okay, first it is our history book. What we studied. This is our history book. Which one we used in 6th standard? That is our past first. Okay, in that book, what all things we studied? We can see here index page. What, where, how and when. We studied about the what all things happened, where it happened, how it happened and when it happened. And when we are studying history, all these four things are important. What, where, how and when. It is very important to understand the historical issues. When it happened, that we will study in the name of centuries or in the particular dates, and how it happened we will study like that, what are the reasons for this and that, how the Mauryan Empire or the King Ashoka got enlightenment, how he changed his mind, like that things we will study. And where it like that, in which place or in which country, like that we will study. And what happened, like that things we studied already in 6th standard. So when we are go through the lessons, we are studying where did people live, what can we know about the past. Then we have seen the political map of Indian subcontinent with near about 7 countries that again we revised last week. Then we studied the names of the land, then finding out about the past, how we understood from the how we got the information about past. Then one past or many, why it is given the one past, one it is given in the plural, why it is like that things we are discussing. Then what do you mean, what do dates mean, why we want to study important dates, like that. Then letters with dates, with letters we studied about BCE or like that, letters what it mean. And in olden days how we was using like that BC and AD. Now present we are using BCE and CE, like that what it mean, like that things we studied. Then in second lesson we can see that one the from hunting gathering to growing food. In starting the people was doing hunting and gathering, they was searching of their food, not cultivating anything. Slowly people started to do cultivation. So the earliest people, why do they move? So that we can see maximum people, there was like a nomadic group, they are moving from one place to another place in search of food, water, like that things. Then how do we know about these people, how we got information about these people? Because of the tools what they used. For example, the stone tools what they used to hunt the animals, or to take the roots of the trees, like that things we found out from that. In the archaeologists they got it. From that we are understanding that how there was and where that people lived in that particular time, like that. Then when they selected their places to live, they was thinking about the water facility as well as the food availability. Water facility as well as food availability they was thinking. And the place where they was living or they was making their house and tool spots, like that, where they were the places where the remains of things we are finding out, that area we are calling it sites. Then finding about fire, then slowly they are find out the fire and the use of fire and other things. Then changing of environment, instead of moving from one place to another place, slowly they started to settle some areas because of the climatical changes or environmental changes. Then in the beginning of the farming and herding, slowly they started to domesticate animals as well as starting the farming, cropping of the means agriculture. It is slowly it is starting. Then in the domestication, they thought according to the area, they started to domesticate different animals. Some area camel was available in near to the desert, they started to domesticate camel. And here if you are looking to South India, we know cow, then buffalo, goat, like that things we started to make a domesticated animal. Then by that what they started a new way of life, means storing food, like food grains and other things they started, like that we studied. Then storing of animal also we studied. Then finding about the first farmers and herders, from where we are getting, again we got from the archaeological evidence, we got the tools and other things what they used, especially the stone tools what they used, and we making like that the Neolithic, Paleolithic, like that different ages we studied in 6th standard. Then we studied about the closer look of one area that is Maharga we studied, and the cave painting of France. The same time what happened in the elsewhere in the world, that we have seen about France, and in France also they had before 20,000 and 1,000 years ago, in that time they also had the cave painting, and they used the animals and other symbols in the cave painting that we have seen. Then in third lesson we studied about the earliest cities of earliest. In that we studied about the story of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, that Harappa Mohenjo-daro civilization, and what was the special about these cities, that also we studied in 6th standard, how they made their drainage, how they made their street, like that things we have seen. Then the life of the city people, how they was living, how they was making the toys for their kids, everything we have seen in third lesson. Then next one, the new craft in the city, making the ornament, like that new craft it is starting. Then in search of raw material, people moved to other places in search of raw material such as wood or ores of the metals, like that. Even farmers and herders also moved in search of good animals as well as the seeds, like that. Then people started to use bronze and other different metals. Then we was purchasing bronze and other things from different countries. Even we reached to Afghanistan or Iran to purchase bronze and other metals. Tin and bronze we purchased from Afghanistan and Iran. Then we copper from Rajasthan, and even from Oman it came to India, like that things we can see. Then food for the people in the cities, what was the facility they made, how they got enough food in the cities, how they start making the agriculture development, like that things. Then we have seen Harappan town in Gujarat, the Harappan and Mohenjo-daro, that civilization it is from Indus Valley to end of into the coastal area of Gujarat. In that we studied about Gujarat, what happened. Then how it destroyed the Harappan civilization, how it destroyed, that also we have seen. Sorry, elsewhere in that we have seen the Egypt, that is the in the Nile river and its Egyptian civilization we have seen in third chapter. The next one, what books and the burial tells, from where we are getting all the information, from the archaeological excavation, from that we are getting. So we got some of the books as well as some of the burial things, pots and other things, from that we are getting the information. Then historians started to study Rigveda, what was available on that time, and they tried to find out the olden books, like that. Then we got the evidence, means the in the books, this Vedic books, it said about cattle's horse, like that things, chariots, and some of the words it described in the this Vedas, even the what we can say caste system, like that things. Then some of the stories also we can see in the Vedas. From that we understood the some of the social differences, and there we got the information about the burial place. Some of the burial place also given the information, how was their life and how was their ornaments, like that information we got. And at the same time, we at the end of the fourth chapter we studied about elsewhere, find China in our atlas, and 3,500 years before what happened there in China, like that things we studied in fourth lesson. Then we done some of the activities in the lesson. Then kingdom, kings and the early republic. Next lesson, kingdom, kings and the early republic. How was India's rulers, who become the rulers of India, And in that chapter itself we are getting the more detailed information about the varna system or caste system. Then we said reading about janpadas and mahajanapadas, people where they started to live together, like that areas it is known as janpadas, and if that is bigger number then we will call it mahajanapadas. And the rulers was collecting taxes, different types of taxes that we studied: taxes on crop, and taxes on craft, then herders tax, then taxes on goods that were brought from and sold, then hunters and gatherers tax, like the different types of taxes the usually people used to give to the rulers. Then changes in the agriculture, how they change the according to the season or the survival purpose, they tried different types of what we can say types of agriculture or crops. Then we have seen two cities, Janpada and one Mahajanapada, that is Magadha, and one Janpada, that is Vanji, like the two areas details we studied. Then elsewhere we have seen about Athens and Greece and Athens, and what happened in that countries, like that we have seen in the book. Okay, in fifth lesson. Sixth lesson about new questions. In that we studied about story of Sri Buddha, then the Upanishads, the means explanation like about Vedas, like that it is came. Then starting of Buddhism as well as Jainism we studied in that lesson. Which lesson? Sixth lesson. New questions and ideas lesson. In that we studied about this Jainas and Buddhists, they had Sangha and monasteries, and what was the used mantras and other things we studied. At the same time we studied about the elsewhere in that part about Iran, and Iran have an Zoroaster was an Iranian prophet, and his teachings are contained a book called Avesta, and that is in a particular language it was written, and good thoughts, good words and good deeds. He was used the three principles, like that we can say: good thoughts, good words and good deeds, and to get the blessing of God, like that we have seen. Next one about Ashoka, the emperor who gave up war. So what we are the King Ashoka or Emperor Ashoka, and how he become emperor, and afterwards after becoming emperor what happened, like that things. In that lesson we have seen about Ashoka Stamba. That time we said about still we are using as the national symbol. And in page number 68 of textbook we studied about Mauryan Empire, and where there was having the major area inscriptions were found in the that is Ashoka's times inscriptions written on the stone or metal plates, like that. And other some of the important cities also we have seen as map in the lesson. Then how was their administration, how they divided different area, and how they was passing message to the people, like that things we have seen. Then how Ashoka became a unique leader, or Ashoka's war in Kalinga, afterwards what happened, like that details we have seen. And Ashoka started his Dhamma, or his converted his mind into Buddhism, and he started to proclaim or preach about Buddhism, and even to Africa we reached, Asian continent, European continent, even African continent we reached to give the information about Buddhism. Then in elsewhere we have seen that Mauryan Empire, that they was ruling here 2400 years, that it means in BCE time, and the emperor in China began building the Great Wall. The Mauryan Empire, when he was ruling here in India, that time China people they made started to make the Great Wall war in China. Okay, like that information already we have seen about the China before itself. Then we can see some of the one map, it is given map 6, some important trade routes including the Silk Route. This lesson we want to study again in 10th standard. The Silk Route details we want to study again in 10th standard, what we studied here in 6th standard. Then next one, okay, we will continue in next video.